People don't have any trust in anybody anymore because they're afraid of going to get help. If they do and their career's over, it's just too common. And then, like I said, nobody, we need something that's innocent. We need something that's anonymous. We need something that is strictly to the user.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Missions That Made Them. I am your host, Jason Verdelli. This isn't just a podcast, but rather it's a movement. It's a movement designed to make the world a better place by bringing more awareness to the great work of the people and organizations making a difference, and more importantly, how you can help. We live in a world today surrounded by a narrative in the media that focuses in on negativity and draws attention to the problems, but not the solutions. Our guests represent the solutions, not the problems. And today, I am super excited, really super excited to be interviewing Justin Miller he's the founder of Objective Zero. And what this organization is doing to save lives is unbelievable. And the technology they develop an app, which Justin's going to go into, is just absolutely incredible. You know, one of the things when I first started the missions that made them here is I always wanted to do multiple things, inspire people, bring hope, feed the hungry, all these different things. But one of the top of my list is to save a life. And really, by listening to Justin's story today, I really would advise any of you to really pay attention and then share this interview out with every single person that you know to get involved into this organization, because they are truly saving lives every single day. So without further ado, Justin, welcome to the Missions That Made Them.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jason.
So Justin, you have an amazing story and how you started this organization. But before we jump into that, can you just share what Objective Zero is?
Objective Zero, we created an app that allows instant and anonymous connection in the time of need by a touch of a button via voice, video, or text. We created it for our service members, our veterans, all of their family members, caregivers, and DoD employees. And our mission was just if we could just save one life, that it was worth it. We just felt that we needed something that the user, it was all about the user. It's all about the person needing the help. So we wanted them to have complete control of who they were able to connect to, instead of somebody there for a paycheck, somebody who's there just a volunteer who cares, who understands.
So Justin, that's incredible. That's incredible. So this app, which again, you can go to the App Store, any of the app stores, the Google Play Store, as well as the Apple Store, and download the app. You just type in Objective Zero, correct? That's how they can get there. And so this app itself, it directly connects them to the caregiver, or the people that can basically help them through that tough time, right?
Yes. So they were our ambassadors, and they're volunteers. They're anybody who wants to be trained in suicide prevention, who knows that you're enough and you deserve it, and who's lived the experience. So they go through the training that we provide, and they set up their schedule of when they're available, which way they are wanting to take calls, whether they're comfortable with text, talk, or video chat. And then as their schedule comes up, they appear on the app, so it's live. Wow. So if you get on the app looking to get help, everybody that has the blue ring around them is somebody who's trained, that's been certified, and is now eligible to answer calls. Those people are the ones that are there. They're the ones that have lived it. They can go to the menu up the top, and they can filter it out. If they want to talk to a male, female, whatever branch, active reserve, Air Force, whether they went to Afghanistan, whatever.
Yeah. That's just it's amazing, really well put together, really well put together. But the cool thing, Justin, and what this you're doing is you're providing that instant solution, or at least they're an app. I mean, they can go right to the app and create a looks like creating a profile, and then from there directly, this is really customized to the what again, they, like you said, the part of the armed forces that they were a part of, and then ultimately the kind of person that they want to talk to, because that's I would imagine that's a big part of their comfort level, right? They feel if they feel a lot more comfortable, they're more likely to use it.
Yeah.
So Justin, so your story, tell us your story. I know you have it on the website and everything, and just for everybody's knowledge here, be sure to go to their website. So it's objectivezero.org, objectivezero.org. Be sure to go to their website. You can check out their backstory, their team, and everything else, but then you can also check out, be sure to also download their mobile app as well. Just absolutely incredible. So Justin, tell us a little bit about how did you start this organization?
Well, I served almost 11 and a half years in the Army as infantry. I did 2 deployments to Iraq for about 27 months. Was medically retired in August of 2014. And by Thanksgiving, I was sitting on the edge of my bed with a pistol in my hand. And I felt that I failed. I felt that everything that I stood for was gone. My identity, I felt like I just lost it all, and I felt like I had nobody to talk to. I felt nobody around me understood, because I no longer was surrounded by all my brothers and sisters that have been there and done it. When you're in every day, you don't realize it until you're gone. But every day you go to work and you're surrounded by people who understand. They can just look at you. Rough night? Yeah, and sleep with the crap. You want to talk about it? And it just happens. But when you get out, you now are surrounded by people who have no understanding. But you'll tell them stories, and they'll look at you like, yeah, okay, whatever. They don't even believe half the stuff, because people they just can't even comprehend things that
Can't
we
relate.
see or do. And it's like they just think that stuff happens in movies. They don't believe that it could possibly really be going on. So I just quit talking about it. After you get the first 2 or 3 people just look at you and roll their eyes like whatever, then at that point you're just like, all right, well, they don't really want to hear about it. They don't believe it, so why should I talk about it? I'll just do what I've always been told to: suck it up, drink water, drive on. And that just that didn't work. It led to me just going in a spiral. My first deployment, I got hit by an IED, and then we raided the house that the kid threw the camera in, and I ended up getting left behind in the house. I was a gunner when I got hit by the IED, and I ended up getting swapped out the driver. So I had 1 magazine on my chest and the driver's M4 with 1 magazine. So here I am in a house with no more than 60 rounds, and I come outside. There's 3 guys coming in the gate, and when I shoulder check one, I go out the gate, I realize there's not a single American in sight, with an alleyway packed full of very angry Iraqis. Because we just raided this lady's house, and the week prior we put her husband in jail for making IEDs. So when I got out, that incident just kept reoccurring, and it was so real that I would not want to go to sleep. And the less sleep I had, the worse they were getting. And about 10 days in or so, I was only getting like maybe 2 hours of sleep a night. And I had that nightmare again. And except for when I was running down the alley, and when I turned to look right, normally the last gunner saw me and stopped, and a single gunshot rang off. And when I turned and looked behind me, there's a group of people chasing me, but they came around the corner and they stopped. Well, in my dream this time, when I turned, they already went around the corner, and then I got hit and it knocked me out. Well, I jumped up and I would put money on it that I was awake. I felt that I was in my room, but my vision was blurry, so I started blinking. And next thing I know, I'm sitting on a chair, bound to the chair in front of a camera. And my worst nightmare is coming true. And when I woke up, couldn't breathe, ran to the bathroom, was throwing up. I just, I was just done. I just wanted to go to sleep. Just wanted it to stop. And grabbed my pistol and was just sitting there. And the first thought went through my head was, I'm not going to pull this trigger twice. So I checked the chamber. And then I realized there wasn't a round in the chamber. And then the next thought was, if I rack around this chamber, it's going to wake up my wife. She's going to ask questions, and I'm going to have to talk. And so I put the gun away and went and sat on the couch and watched TV and tried to deal with it by myself. And every time the nightmare would come up, I would just start hyperventilating and breaking down. So finally I called the VA and was just like, look, I said, I about killed myself this morning. I said, I need help. I don't know what's going on. I said, nothing makes sense. I said, I feel just lost. I feel like I'm broken. I feel like I failed. And the lady's like, well, are you suicidal right now? I said, well, no. I said, I'm on the phone with you trying to get help. I said, but another night like last night, I said, I promise you I'm not going to be here. I said, I'm done after that. So she put me on hold and then came back with an appointment 2 days later. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, I just told you I couldn't handle one night, so you gave me 2 nights to call bullshit. I said, thanks. And I hung up the phone.
Jesus.
And nobody called me back or nothing. So 30 to 60 seconds later, I get a text message from Chris. And saying, hey, I got a project I'm doing at Georgetown for my master's. It's a course I'm trying to create for our future leaders of trying to figure out why our people are joining during a time war and keep re-enlisting. We're trying to find commonalities. You know, would you be willing to take part? And I'm like, yeah, that's the least I can do. Just try to help. So I went ahead and got on the phone with him, and he gave me a different outlook. You know, had me look at, you know, when I was in, the government was paying me to do my job. And then when I got out, the VA started paying me. And he said, now look at it, the VA is paying you to take care of your brothers and your sisters. He said, you got a story, and your story's going to save lives. I'm like, yeah, okay. I said, I don't have a story. I said, my story, biggest thing is, I said, I did missions with Chris Kyle. I said, that's it. I've been in sniper hides with him. I said, other than that, I said, I did nothing but my job. And he's like, no, man, he's like, your story's going to save lives. So I kept procrastinating, just kept pushing off, because every time I try to write stuff down, I would just lose it. And my mother-in-law kept trying to convince me to go to church. And at the time, I was so angry at God, because I'm like, there can't be a God if all this stuff's going on. You know, he wouldn't have let this stuff happen. He would have let me die instead of my friends. He'd have let them come back. And so I go to church finally, because I was like, I'll go once if you just leave me alone about it. She's like, all right, one time. So I'm in church, and I'm starting to get so mad because everybody's in there all happy and smiling, and I'm getting furious. So I go to the back, and I'm just sitting there, and I just start having it out with them, just cussing them out, telling them how I feel, and then challenge them. I'm like, if you're really up there, I said, you'd strike me dead right now. I said, but look, here I am. I said, there you are, don't exist. And then it was like somebody put their head on my shoulder. And I heard, quit feeling sorry for yourself. Look at everything that I pulled you through. Share your stories and your struggles with others to give them strength. and hope to pull forward. And at that moment, I was like, well, dang, I have to go tell my story. So I ended up writing my story. It still took me months to be able to get through it because I'd get to points and I'd just break down. And finally, I sent it over to Chris, and I don't even think he had it for 24 hours. And he turns around and sends me back an edited version, and I'm just like, that version just had me in tears. I was just like, what the heck? I was like, that is crazy. Um, he got it published, and then this guy Ryan, he read it. He was a student at Georgetown. He reached out to Chris, he goes, I got this idea and I want to give it to you guys. And it was originally like Yelp for veterans, but then we realized that during our research, we realized that when most veterans that die by suicide, they usually end up doing it, within the first 5 minutes. So we're like, we don't have time for somebody to get on an app, try to locate a place, contact a place, get an appointment. We don't have time for them to put on hold, send voicemail. We're like, we need something that's instant. And we're like, people don't have any trust in anybody anymore because they're afraid of going to get help because they do and their career's over. It's just too common. And then I'm like, so nobody, we need something that's instant. We need something that's anonymous. We need something that is strictly for the user. That's all that matters, the user being comfortable. And we had a team of geniuses. Chris Mercado, his wife Betsy, Blake and Kayla, and we brainstorm every week for hours, and then we would, all right, brainstorm all week within yourself, come up with every possible loophole, any error, anything that crack we can find, and let's come back next week and we'll brainstorm again and fix these. And we did that for months, and then we finally just found an app developer, and it went from there. It's been crazy.
That's incredible. So that's you go from personal experience, you've attracted all these people that are now part of your team, and you attracted, they just wanted to support, right? Because it's you have, and you realized a huge gap, right? You contacted the VA. They said, basically said, hey, I'm not going to make it through the night. They said they scheduled an appointment for 2 days. Makes zero sense. And so obviously there was nothing. This is the first I've ever heard of this for veterans. This is, for veterans that are out there, or veterans that know veterans, maybe the veterans that aren't necessarily like dealing with those issues. But we all, I know everybody knows a veteran, right? Everybody knows a veteran in some way, shape, or form. And just getting that out and assembling that team. Do you feel like it was, you went into the church the one day and you felt like, you found your calling there. Do you feel like the attracting the team, everything else, do you think that was part of his work, or for you?
It was just so weird.
Yeah.
When I I just couldn't explain that those words that I heard. It was, I looked around me because I would have swore that somebody was there talking to me. And when I heard that, I'm like, it was just like that green light. It was like, this is meant to be. This is going to happen. This is going to save lives, like he said. And had no idea what it was going to do. But then when he came to us with the idea, we started with a Kickstarter campaign to raise funds because the app company was going to be like $60,000 at first. And
Mm.
they were like, you come up with this much, and then we'll, work out a payment plan for the rest. And so we did the Kickstarter, and they, the guys come back and they're like, man, statistically, we're not going to make it. We're nowhere near. It's not going to happen. And I'm like, guys, it's going to happen. Have faith. It's going to be good. And it wasn't looking good. And then my son and my daughter came to me and they said, hey, they said, we want to donate some money. And their money was the one that broke us, put us over the, made us reach our goal.
That's so awesome. That man, that's Justin. You've out of all the interviews I've done so far, that has definitely touched me as well. In that, and man, wow, that's that's amazing that your son and daughter gave you the money that you needed to get over, to get everything going,
Yeah.
and think about you as a father and everything you did, and I can totally relate. Now, I mean, my son's not old enough to understand really what money is yet, but but either way, I mean, it was your guidance and your leadership and everything through this year. I'm sure that has made a huge impact to say, wow, this is the right thing to do. This is something bigger. And it's like, it's amazing to see that for them to have the foresight to be able to understand how much of an impact that money's making, it's going to make, and how it's going to save lives. I mean, what a legacy, man. Jeez. That's so continue. Sorry.
No, it's yeah, it was just a blessing. That was just like that, the hands on the shoulders just kind of saying, good job, I told you. And
Yeah.
then
See
it's
my
just,
power now. See,
yeah,
yeah. You see my power. You see I'm not around. There you go. There you go. Here you go, buddy. Look at this.
hey,
And
yeah,
it's a weird. It is not evident, right? Not evident when you're first there. At first, you're thinking this is impossible. What the heck, But it is a weird way of working, man. I'll tell you that.
it
Weird
really
way.
does. I mean, we would have people, we'd have some people that would come in and help for a few weeks, and we've had some that have been there, from the beginning. Um, I mean, it is a heavy burden. This is, I mean, took on started up a tech company,
Yeah.
a tech nonprofit, and then something completely new in mental health and how
Yeah.
we're changing how the world views mental health. It's a doctor, they only know what they read. They only
Yeah.
know what they've gotten from studies. And I mean, I'm not saying that they don't know things, they do, but
Yeah.
somebody who's lived it, experienced it, and made it through it is going to be able to help somebody 10 times more than a doctor who's going to just write you out a prescription. Um, so when we created this, it wasn't like, we saw all these people pointing fingers, and doing all these videos, raising awareness, but everybody was wanting, pointing the blame on the government and the VA. And
Yeah.
we realized that wasn't doing any good. We said, let's see what we can do to help. If we can take this burden off of the VA, if we can lighten the numbers and give them a source here where we take this part, then that'll allow them to focus more on taking care of other areas. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you said in the beginning, let's not focus on on the negativity. Let's focus on the solution.
Sure.
Let's quit pointing at pointing fingers on who's to blame, because it doesn't matter who's to blame. It's already done.
Yeah.
All we do now is figure out a way to to make a change. And once you start getting that positive energy going, man, it is amazing of the power it has. The power of good can freaking wipe
Mm-hmm.
out the darkness so much faster. My God, I mean, I was dark and miserable for years. I mean, I came back in August of '05, and I didn't want to live. I was numb, and
Yeah.
and that one day changed my whole life. Um, and, and when I did this, started on this journey, I committed to be, that face of PTSD and TBI and suicide. And I committed myself to try any type of treatment and therapy. If, so I've gone through quite a few different programs. I've gone through Save a Warrior, I've gone through the Mighty Oaks, Warrior Foundation, both of them, both amazing programs. Um, it gave me my life back. Also gave me a new look at life, different perspective. And then I got the SGB, the stellar ganglion block injection, and that was an absolute game changer. Um, if you have not heard of it or don't know anything about it or have questioned it, oh my God, I'm telling you to go get it.
What's it called
Go
again?
check
It's
out the Stella
what's the name of that?
SGB,
Can you say it again?
the Stella
What is it?
ganglion block injection.
Stealth. Okay.
So they do 2 injections on the right side of your neck and between your C4 and your C6, and then the next day they do the C4 and C6 on your left side. So the
Okay.
ganglion nervous system, it controls your fight or flight. So when your fight or flight kicks in, that basically put in simple terms, the ganglion kind of cramps, and when it cramps, it floods your system with all this boost. Well,
Yeah.
for people that have been living in untreated trauma or unprocessed trauma, that system has basically been in a Charlie horse and has been living in the fight or flight so long that they don't even notice, they don't even realize it. That's the reason why they're
Becomes a new
always on
norm.
edge. They're always scanning. They always want to punch somebody in the mouth. They're always irritable
Right.
because they're not sleeping. They're always scanning. They can't relax. The SGB
Mm-hmm.
and within minutes. I mean, I felt like I could take a deep breath for the first time in my life. And
Yeah.
let's see, I got my right and left side done in October. And since October, it was I think the 19th and 20th or 20th and 21st, something like that. Don't I don't think I can recall a nightmare. And I used to have nightmares nightly, multiple times, where I'd wake up and my bed would be soaked, where I'd have to flip my pillows and lay a towel down just because I was been sweating so bad because I was just freaking being chased through Iraq or in
Right.
firefighters or whatever.
Yeah. Reliving
Man,
that experience.
it's well worth it.
So it's
SGB, stellar ganglion block injection. Some bases
Stell again.
have it
Yeah.
for the active duty military. And then if you go to rosm.org, at the Stellite Institute, they're up in Annapolis. There are 2 veterans who are running this. One of them, they're both 30 plus year veterans. One was a SEAL, one was SF, also the female Olympic swim team doctor. So these guys know and understand trauma and actually care. And they have been doing these procedures since like early 2000s for SOCOM, for pain and all these other issues. And they've, realized that it helps with PTSD also. So it's the VA covers it, but not everybody at the VA realizes it because communication is not like the military. It doesn't actually trickle down to the very bottom like it's supposed to. If an
Yeah.
email doesn't get read all the way and deleted, that's just where it ends, unfortunately. But if you actually push through this, they'll realize and they'll look into it that they do fund it, but they'll try to push you into doing all the treatments they have first, which like the guys up there, the Dr. Mulvaney and Dr. Lynch, like they say, it's like if you broke your leg and you come back after treatment, you have to sit there and tell somebody how you broke your leg, or you tell them how you healed it.
Right.
In the VA, they want to hear every single time how you got injured, how you got your PTSD. I mean, I went 12, 13 weeks in a row where I had to sit there and tell them the whole entire story from the time where the little boy and girl got hit by the V-bid. And it's like, and every day I would go home and I wouldn't sleep for days because every time I closed my eyes, I would be reliving that whole event because they would record me. And then part of my homework is that I have to go home and I'd have to listen to me tell that story. What type of freaking healing is that?
Treatment is that?
Trauma upon trauma. Let's stack on some more trauma and then send you home to listen to more trauma with no support. Oh, here's some more pills. Take those. That'll help. Which,
not part of the solution, Justin. Not part of the solution.
Yeah. We need to look at new treatments, new therapies.
Yeah.
Let's quit doing the
And that's
same
what you're doing.
things that aren't working. Let's try this new stuff and don't make things a hassle. If you see that you have the treatment, if you see it's available, they charge $800 per side. So for a veteran, for a service member, it's $1,600. There's other organizations that will charge you $2,000 for one side.
Wow.
So, so and these guys, and it's literally you go in, like from the time you lay down on the table, from the time that they do the injections and you leave, maybe 15 minutes.
Wow. So pretty quick. Yeah.
And you'll literally feel it within minutes.
Wow. So everything you're doing here, Justin, I mean, not only the app and everything else, but your organization is really here to provide the information and also the quick access to the solution, right? To the people that can help. They can jump on a video chat within minutes, or be connected to somebody. That's just incredible. And that's really, in what you've explained too, is not everybody hears that. I mean, we all know that there's been issues and this and that, but like, you don't always hear that directly, because you've been at the ground level with this, right? You've been through the VA, you've been through understanding, through that experience. I mean, if you, you might not be alive today if depending on, then their schedule. So it's, you've developed that through Objective Zero. You've developed that solution that is completely tailored to that scenario where somebody is, they don't want to go through trauma. They don't want to have to go through and have to explain how they broke their leg or how they got PTSD and all that, right? Like that in itself, I would imagine, is really freaking hard to go through it and try to explain, it's like trying to explain a trauma that has happened when you're a child, just bringing it up is traumatic, for a lot of people. So, but yeah, that's, so where, Justin, so where do you see the future of the organization? I mean, where do you see this going? What are your goals? What's your ultimate vision here?
Goal is to be a household name. My goal is to have it on every service member's phone. When I was in, I had an ACE card. That ACE card was mandatory for me to have. This is a virtual ACE card right there. And it's free. We don't charge. We cover all the back end fees. We do all the work to find the money to take care of all of this. So we just want people to know that it's there. And our objective is 0 suicides from the military and, um, to let the people know
Yeah.
that they deserve it.
Well, it's a great goal to have, and the name really does explain your goal, right? Objective Zero, and which is a great goal, and I think we all have the ability to support that, right? Financially, to get in here to donate. I mean, it's being on your website here, you have different campaign types that you can select with donations. But is that the only way? Is there other ways that people can support outside of financial support?
So you can, three main ways is join us, um, join the app, download it, become an ambassador, whether you're in the military or not, just even if you're a civilian and you support the military, go through the training. Education is power, knowledge is power. Learn about these
Mm-hmm.
issues. Psych Armor is partnered with us. They provide free courses to our ambassadors. Um, and that our Pathfinders is what they're going to be called. And but they provide free training. So there's free mental health training there on how to live with somebody with PTS, how to live with somebody with TBI, all of these different things, how to identify somebody who's on the edge, how to talk them down, all these different courses, they're free. And we provide them
Mm-hmm.
on the app. So that's one way. Join us, get on there. Second way, tell everybody you know. Let people know. Any veterans, any family members, let them know. If they don't know it exists, how are they going to be able to get the help? And third way, I mean, we like I said, we don't have the donation on the app because we don't want anybody to feel like they need to pay to get have their life
Right.
saved. They deserve it. They've already earned it. But we do have to pay for the app. And right now it's going to be about 30,000 or so a year, 40 a year. It keeps growing depending on how many users and how often it's used. And from the pull out of Afghanistan, our numbers started going through the roof. So it's hard to tell how much it's going to end up costing, but it's not cheap. Just to
No,
maintain.
no, and I've been in that world, technology world, and it's definitely not a cheap world to maintain, as well as you continue to scale and get more people, get more involvement, get more resources, everything else. I mean, that is huge. But the sharing. So obviously, getting the app, number one. Two is sharing that, right? Sharing, being part of sharing this video, sharing this interview is a great way to do that, just to bring awareness to your story and everything else, and not only just getting people to the app, but also understanding the story behind it. And but then the third part is the financial part, which I look at and say, hey, for you go to dinner, right? Or, okay, let's start with coffee, right? You get the daily coffee if you do go out for coffee. That you spend. I mean, gosh, if there's like statistics out there, Justin, on this, but like I don't know if it's like the average person spends like $1,000 or $1,500 a year on a cup of Joe, right? So, I mean, we do have a coffee. Like America in general has a coffee addiction, I think, but in that regard. But good or bad, nonetheless, we still spend money. You spend money you don't even think about, and we so you can look at this. I look at this as saying, by supporting you monthly, you do have the Battle Buddy monthly donation, which you can choose anywhere. It looks like we can either write in the number, or you can choose anywhere from $5, 5, 15, 35, 50, or hey, give $250 a month, or give $2,000 a month, whatever you want to do. But I think the transaction that occurs is that if you believe in saving lives, you believe, and more importantly, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the privilege of doing a podcast like this if it wasn't for our military, if it wasn't for our veterans, right? This goes all the way back, all the different world wars, everything else, right? The privilege that we have of being able to sit on a podcast and not have to worry about somebody invading our houses and all of this stuff is because of people, because of the military, right? Because of our veterans. That is why we have the privilege, right? We have the privilege to complain about things. We have the privilege to be negative if you want. You have the privilege to be positive, which I prefer. But none of that is possible without the military, without protection, because this world is not the world, as you know more than most, Justin, is not sunshine and rainbows. It is not. It is definitely. It is. It's not a free world in a sense. We live in this sort of bubble here, but so we look at our country. We should be proud of our country. We'd be proud of our veterans and thank our veterans. But what a better way to do that by giving, hey, give $5, give $5 a month, right? I mean, what a better feeling you're going to get knowing you're supporting an app, and you're supporting it. Not only, I don't want to say an app, I don't want to bring it down, but you're supporting an organization that is saving lives in the process. You're supporting an organization that is giving back to those veterans that have sacrificed their life, they've sacrificed their time, everything else, for the freedom that we enjoy in this country, for the freedom of everything that we've ever built. So if you believe in that, go to their website. Be sure to go to objectivezero.org. So objectivezero.org. Go to the click on give support. You can either in the navigation click on give support. They have all the different ways that you can help, but be sure to go to donate. And when you go to donate, they have the donate now button there. You can click, and then from there, I mean, that's I would just choose start small, start big, however you want, but you will not get a better feeling. I can tell you that coffee isn't going to cut it the same way. Gas prices the way they are these days. It's for what you can do. You can save lives. You can save a life for what you would spend on a gallon of gas today, and be to support that initiative. So I really urge you out there that are watching this to do that, as well as also to be sharing this interview with every single person you know. By sharing, we are all part of the solution, because we're able to we're able to save lives. We're able to bring awareness, and really everything I've stood for, Justin, is to bring awareness to the great work of the people and organizations making a difference, which is the whole point of the podcast. But the organizations like yours are actually you're really doing the work in making that happen, making that connection from the people that need the help to the people that can help them. And it's really the future, as I see it. You're doing this in a way that is how we communicate these days. All right. A lot of us communicate by phone. We have, instant communication, and to tailor that experience is truly saving lives. And I can't thank you enough for not only for your service but also your leadership, extreme leadership, in seeing a solution and having the guidance and the direction, God-given direction to make that possible. So I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you. And one more thing, another way we're going to pay for the app is we're white labeling it. So if you're in an organization that deals with high rates of suicide, basically you can buy a version of the app a lot cheaper than what it costs to build it, and you can have the same version with your name on it, and kind of customize the way you prefer. And also, another way to help is if you guys see a loophole, see an error, see something that we can improve, tell us about it. We take criticism. We love it, because that's how you save lives.
That's true. You can't. Yeah, you're getting constructive feedback in order to make the experience better, so you can truly save lives. And Justin, I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. I really do think that, as you mentioned too, and agree with, is that we all have the power and the ability to be a part of the solution. We all have the ability to not succumb to the negativity in the media, the negativity that is brought from other people that have been exposed to that. And sometimes, we're around those people. And ultimately what that does is it creates a society that works against itself, right? It starts to cannibalize itself eventually. So the more people that we can get that realize that, within an instant, you can change your thought. You can change your thought over to solution-oriented thinking and positive thinking, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take any time. And when you do that, you are going to make this world a better place. And I think the majority of the people that are doing that, the world's DNA changes, right? The more people that we can have that are going to supporting organizations like yours, Justin, here with going to objectivezero.org and getting involved some way, shape, or form, right? If you're an as you mentioned, with either white labeling the app, if you're an organization that has a very similar objective but maybe a different audience, great way to do that. What a better way you built the platform, you've built the infrastructure, you're designing the system to constantly fulfill that need of saving lives when people need it the most. So, but at the end of the day, I think we all have a choice, though. We have a choice today as you listen to this podcast, as you go to bed at night, as you wake up in the morning, and you do the same thing again and again, is that you can ask yourself one question, which is, what can I do to make this world a better place? And if I can do one thing to make that change happen, then the world, eventually becomes a better place in reality. So, one way to do that today is to go to objectivezero.org and check them out. Be sure to donate. Be sure to download the app, get involved, share this with all your friends, family, everybody. And I think, we can get this in some hands too, Justin, of some influencers out that we all know too, that have large followings, things like that. They too can be a big part of that solution. So we can kind of work off of everybody's audience essentially to get this out to the masses. Besides that, I think any other words, Justin, that you wanted to share before we hop off?
I just focus more on putting a smile on someone's face than pointing out the negativity.
That's it.
Perspective is what makes a difference. So.
Perspective is what makes us different. You're exactly right. And Justin, you are everything. You and your organization. Be sure to tell everybody at Objective Zero that for myself and everybody here at the Missions That Made Them, everybody in that organization that is really a part of what we, everything we talk about here at the Missions That Made Them. You are part of the solution that is going to make the world a better place. You are saving lives, and your leadership is something I think we all can be blessed with and learn from and respect, and even go and try to do the same thing, and not the same thing, but try to take that aspect of leadership and finding a solution and creating a solution into different aspects of our lives. So you are truly an inspiration to me and everybody, and I truly thank you for coming on today.
So thank you for having me.
Good. So everybody, be sure again to share this video. Click on the share button here. Be sure to subscribe to the Missions That Made Them here. And be sure, if you're on YouTube, be sure to smack the bell so you can get notifications when we receive new episodes. And be sure also to go to objectivezero.org. You will save a life.